In the Unova region, there exist two groups of important denizens: the cursed who choose to Nuzlocke, and the Pokemon who bear their suffering. These are their stories.
About to be 3, because the next route is incoming. Crossing fingers, here's hoping we get something good out of it. Meanwhile, Mother teleports behind me. Yay! Shoes! Aww, these aren't Skechers, they're Crocs! How are you supposed to run in Crocs? Hi, Mama. I guess I'm gonna have to deal with the running Crocs. And a refunded potion. Okay. Wheel of Gotcha. Turn, turn, turn. Please give me a Pokemon that won't burn. That's a Purloin. That's not great. Not terrible, but not great. Especially since it got that low on HP in a single tackle. Alright, your premier debut. Get in the ball, please. I would love for you to join our party of misfits and haberdashery. Yay! Purloin, the devious Pokemon. Its cute act is a ruse. When victims let down their guard, they find their items taken. It attacks with sharp claws. I mean, I could go for the obvious poke at Remem and just name you Citry, but you know what? I'll take a suggestion. Just for humor. I'm amused by the way you think, Peahr. Sure. Introducing... Actually, I'm doing that wrong. This kitten is just gonna growl and hiss at everything it sees. Cat noise. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, like purring. Wow, I'm dumb. Like purring, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. The little one is still going to be absolutely adorable. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Sassy nature? Actually, that's really handy, because that's gonna be extra speed and protection from Para. Not bad. I shall protect this adorable with my life. I refuse to let this little one meet the same fate as the Shinx of Run 1. I shall maintain my party of cuties. I promise to be kind to Cat. Whether the game wants me to be kind to Cat or not, however, is up to RNG. Huh. That was half of her health. Switch. You know, funny story on that one. I was about to say maybe I should just name it Peahr, just for amusement and prosperity. Well, I try. If it helps, I'm also looking out for a couple other Pokemon that may or may not appear as well. A couple friends of mine actually have told me their favorite Pokemon were like the Shinx line and also Venipede, so they're probably going to be specifically named after their Pokemon as well. If I can find them. Again, Nuzlocke, so who knows. Sorry, little one, you're not gonna be catching this rat by yourself. You need help. If you're taking half of your health and damage from that, you need help. I genuinely need some TMs to give some better moves to my allies. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be for a bit. I at least need to get to the Dream Yard. You're not even going to fight in this battle, little one. You're gonna see the bird. You're not gonna touch the bird. If anything, Fubar is gonna be the one to flip the bird. Oh yeah, you assist. It's not a great move, but it's something. If I remember correctly, assist was first introduced in Gen 3. Essentially how it works is, on use, it rolls a random move from a random ally Pokemon. That's why, if you ever see a Pokemon with Assist in the wild, they usually don't have all too many moves to pick from, because they're only picking from their own moves. Meanwhile, a Pokemon with Assist in a party is especially dangerous to worry about. Because, for all you know, they could be rolling something as mundane as Growl, or as dangerous as Aeroblast, or even Hyper Beam. Because of course, if you call for assistance, someone is going to listen. And potentially nuke your entire party. Or nuke your little kitty. Take your pick. Okay, that's fine. Enjoy VR. I need to invest in some VR at some point. I want to try it. Bonk the hoot hoot. Have a real hoot hoot. At least bring the little one up to 9, maybe 10. And of course, prioritize the starter a little more, because, water gun. Soak the bird. And me being the terrible person I am, I almost said marinate it in its juices. Ew. I don't even want to know what the juices of a Pidgey would look like, let alone smell like. I don't think I want to contemplate it. Things not to think about for 800. Cut the beaver. Come on, another Moody? Yeah... Little one, you're gonna switch out. You're not fighting anything that's almost tied with your level. I might have mentioned it during the Magmammal stream, but I've been getting into Super Animal Royale lately. And I blame Tienos for it. The TLDR of it was, earlier in the week, he was streaming it, held an event where he was like, yeah, you know what? People can play with me. We play this fairly often. Let's mess around. And originally I didn't really touch the game because, well, one, it's a battle royale type game, and I normally don't play those all too often. I've been getting into it, but it's partially because the game is so adorable. But yeah, one of the things that was off-putting for me was the fact that they had a good chunk of the cosmetics as, like, buyable stuff. As in real-world money buyable. And I'm usually hesitant about that type of thing, because I end up playing a lot of mobile games, so whenever I see that type of thing in the mobile scene, I'm just off-put by it. Oh good, Feint Attack. That's gonna be really useful. Just, among the things that I was worried about was the fact that the various animal, options were going to be locked behind paywalls, but as it turns out, no, that's not the case. I, therefore, spent a good majority of the week grinding out my adorable little raccoon. As I'm a very linear sort. If there's a raccoon, I will go for it. One exception. Zigzagoon. Zigzagoon looks damn ugly. I'm sorry. If you like Zigzagoon, I respect that, but at least for me, one of the worst looking raccoon types. But yeah, for the past week, I've been grinding out Super Animal Royale. Got everything in the Christmas shop, so yay. All that's left is playing for however much I want to, and waiting until the next event occurs, which is going to be sometime after New Year's, by the look of it. Well, that, and if I play enough matches that I can unlock an animal that I like, then sure, I'll go for it. I already ground up a ferret. Specifically, Super Pine Marten, because, well, I like the color brown. I'm weird. Also ground up a skunk. I might do an extra color on that. So the vanilla skunk looks nice, so that's something to take a look at, potentially. I'm kind of curious what other animals might come up on the list, but I also don't want to spoil it for myself, so chances are I'm just gonna steadily play on my own time and eventually unlock what I can. Level 9. Excellent. I wonder if I'm weird for thinking that Wormpole looks adorable. Curse words to say for 600, time to grind the beaver. Oh, well, that's a problem. Fubar, switch in, please. Protect my beaver. Remember, kids, always keep your beaver protected. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do, if I end up bungling this third and final run, is probably play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Actually, come to think of it, I think I have the next few projects I want to do leveled out in my head. If this doesn't at least get past the sixth or so gym, then I'm just gonna stop Nuzlocke and consider it a no-go option. Play something I actually have more of an interest in, which is Mystery Dungeon, Sheer and the Wanderer. Especially since Sheer and the Wanderer, like, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon also gives me a bit more of an excuse to method act and mess around a little more. Not to mention, again, Mystery Dungeon is kind of a big part of my childhood, and my growth as a person, even. As cheesy as it is, Isekai Pokemon, of all things, was what helped me grow out of my shell. A little bit. But I think a few of the other future projects I want to do at some point. I was asked to look at Secret of Mana for at least a little bit, so I probably will do that. 9 Hours, 9 Doors, 9 Persons was also something I wanted to look at, because, hey, something puzzly to snark over. That might be interesting. Not to mention, I know at least a few people that might want to take a look at it and haven't, so that's an opportunity. It also gives me a moment to show off the DS version of the game, specifically because, well, 1, I own it, and 2, the DS version also has a few differences in comparison to the Steam version, which is more readily available. One of which includes the very final puzzle, which, just saying, the Steam version I simultaneously like and hate. Because, on the one hand, it makes sense for the context, it's nice to look at, but 1, it's a little too simplistic, considering it's the final puzzle in the game, and 2, I have a lot more to talk about when it comes to the actual final puzzle within the original. Such, if you don't know about it, I might as well just mention it right now. It's Sudoku. Which, in my eyes, makes more sense, considering 9 Hours, 9 Doors, 9 Persons. Because the main way that Sudoku works is it uses the numbers 1 through 9, which the entire game goes through as well. It makes sense thematically. Granted, the password 9 thing within the Steam version is also makes sense, but it's more for a story reason as opposed to almost attempting bookends. I feel like Sudoku just works better, if it makes sense, even though it's stupid that it's Sudoku in the first place. Specifically because it keeps with the theming of 9 Hours, 9 Doors, 9 Persons, which is a constant murder mystery where you're constantly puzzling out what is true and what is not. Sudoku, by its nature, is a puzzle game that forces you to do that. You have to figure out where you have to place the numbers and make a solution when you're given absolutely 0 and have to slowly piece together everything. It's a microcosm of the entire plot, essentially. Though, going back to Pokemon for a little bit, I'm starting to think that Nuzlockes are just not my cup of tea in terms of difficulty. I do like a hard experience, but at the same rate, I'm also a person who prefers a fair experience. Hard but fair. Which, some people will say that, well, this is fair. You need to do a lot of preparation and careful planning, but, about that? On the one hand, it is down to preparation and careful planning, but on the other hand, it's more about grinding than it is actually coming up with a battle strategy. And in my eyes, I feel like I shouldn't necessarily have to grind in order to make progress. A game can be hard, but still fair. And a lot of the time, roguelikes tend to hit that mark. A Nuzlocke is essentially a means of turning Pokemon into a roguelike, which by itself I respect and I like. I like the concept of it. I like the execution, kind of. But at the same rate, it's also putting a lot of unnecessary padding into the game. For me at least, if I'm gonna be playing an RPG like this, then I want the encounters themselves to be difficult to work with, not have to worry about permadeath. This also gives me a moment to mention that while this is a bit on the scale of bullshit in terms of difficulty, it's not exactly Trials of Mana No Future. That is pure bullshit. The timer is on battles, nothing to worry about for me. I could easily wrap any of those battles within the time limit. It's the simple fact that it's drastically reducing your options, while essentially presenting the same difficulty as Expert. That's what bothers me most. And I couldn't exactly put that into words then, because I didn't 100% know how to explain it. Now that I've taken a moment to breathe and move away from Trials of Mana, I think I can understand why I didn't like it, and this is why I didn't like it as much on No Future, and that's specifically because No Future just felt exactly the same as Expert Mode, but with some extra fluff added. And with some extra fluff taken out. It didn't feel like a challenge so much as drudgery. That's being said by a person who actually likes playing hard games more often than not. I like the difficulty, but part of why I like the difficulty is because more often than not, the difficulty is reasonably fair. If you have some immediate preparation and some good reflexes and some ability to think on the fly, you're good. You may die, but you're good. And hell, you may die multiple times, but again, each and every time that you get to that point, you're learning more and more, and you're able to properly account for the challenge, for the appropriate challenge. The Nuzlocke experience is essentially like a roguelike, only drastically stretched out. Because in a roguelike, you don't have to worry about grinding all that much. You just need to be able to obtain some items along the way to help you grow, and be able to hold your own in a battle. Meanwhile, with the Nuzlockes here, it's more about overgrinding to the point that you can raffle stomp your opponent, as opposed to careful planning. Let's face it, when it comes down to it, you're not exactly spending as much time strategizing as you are grinding. If anything, you're spending the most time grinding. And for a person like me, that's not exactly an engaging or fulfilling experience. Because I want to feel like I'm doing something, and if I'm grinding, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything except wasting my time, because the game demands me to waste my time. I'm strange in that respect. I understand that. Yeah, the little one here can't handle another Purloin. I could use a Dark-type move, but that's not doing all that much damage, so gotta switch it up. Water gun. I need to look up what level Purloin evolves into Liepard. I think it was like 20 some odd. Soak the monkey. Soak it more. Although, this really isn't a great place to be training you. Specifically because of the bug types. I don't exactly I never really understood that part of Pokemon. How is it that dark types are weak to bug types, of all things? Like, on the one hand, I understand why the dark type was brought in. And it was specifically because they needed some... It's specifically because Game Freak at the time needed to introduce some way to curtail the psychic type. So, Gen 2, they introduced dark types, which were completely immune to psychic attacks. But dark type Pokemon were fairly not great. Specifically because they were weak to some of the more common moves of the game. Those being fighting type moves and also bug type moves. One can argue that, like, when the fairy type got introduced, a similar instance occurred, specifically just to curtail dragons. But unlike the dark type, fairy types are more powerful. They were actually somewhat reasonably balanced and dangerous. Meanwhile, with dark types, for the most part, any dark type you have to fear is the way it is because it's a dual type. There are exceptions here and there, i.e. Umbreon, but for the most part, people remember the dual types more than the single types. Hey, Bidoof, you know what would be useful? If you learned another move, like, I don't know, Water Gun? Maybe Headbutt? Because, yes, Headbutt, because of course, the perfect thing to introduce to a butt is a beaver. Why do I think this way? Kitten Scratch Fight! Done. Okay, level 7s for the next 3 trainers, followed by Bianca. So yeah, chances are I can handle it. I'm more than aptly prepared. And because it's kind of annoying mashing. Fast. Patrat, please get out of my way. I don't want to deal with you. I want to deal with the little kid here. Who's got a Hoot Hoot? This'll be a Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot, the Hoot Hoot Pokemon. Hoot 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 Hoots when it hoots. Is when it hoots hoot. A Hoot Hoot's Hoot, Hoots Hootly. What? Anyways, Bidoof, get out here before my already glitched head glitches even further. And 2. Done. And back to the Patrat. Feint Attack should chip it most of the way. Then I can preserve power on Feint Attack by using Scratch. Done. Let's see, how is everyone's HP? Pretty good, actually. So I could probably handle a second trainer. Zigzagoon. Punch it in the face, please. Excellent crit. Followed by Caterpie. What is this, Viridian Forest? Dunk it until it dies, please, Bidoof. Thank you. Next up, Pidgey. It's finally your time, little one. You get to hunt the bird. With a feint attack. Catch us something plump and juicy to eat on Christmas Day. Excellent work. You know what? Keep battling. You can take out the Meowth too. I believe in you. Ooh, that was almost all of its health in a single feint attack. Nice work. Why did I use Scratch? I could have just taken it out with feint attack. Doi. Donk. Excellent. And Fury Swipes. Fury Swipes. 18 power, 80 accuracy, hits 2 to 5 times. Not great. Actually, it's terrible. It could be better, technically, than Scratch, but it would need to hit 3 to 5 times, and knowing my luck, it's pretty much never gonna do that. I have terrible luck with multi-hit moves, and usually end up getting, what, like 2 hits on average? I'd rather not put my hands in the fate... Try again, me. I'd rather not put my fate in the hands of luck any more than I have to. I already put my luck in the hands of fate. It's called the job market. Ho-ho! And time to fight an army of Lillipup. Chances are the little one can handle it. One of them with feint attack. Yeah, honestly, just keep spamming feint attack. Chances are you could tick through the entire army. No, you cannot. That's a Kricketot. Fubar. Before things go even more off the rails, I would like for your attention. Spray that cricket. I don't care what you spray it with. Fertilizer. Oil. Various spices and seasonings. Just spray it until it falls. Same for the wheel. And Bidoof. Alright, swap back. The little one can take care of this. Give it a scratch. Done. That takes care of all of the trainers on the route. Except for the rival. The rival is gonna be a pain. Because it's gonna be a Meowth, followed by Bianca's specific Pokemon, which in this case I think was Tepig. Because I know Bianca always gets the Pokemon you are advantageous against.